figured, yeah, I had to get those shots on the brand or stuff. That frequently. Play basketball, shoes on, stuff that we need to get.
Just looking at engineering schools. She actually contacted us for we got to be able to priority right.
I was telling my relatives about the swings that can happen because the hill and they're like appalled. Like
right away.
That 80-degree change. That just seems real. Thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe 80 degrees to 2 hours. She was just crazy. I heard that the trees, they were like frozen and she's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's so cool. Tell her. Twice. Street is
That's ridiculous.
yeah.
That's insane. There seems to be nothing.
She's actually scored. You guys never
So she'll do like that. From what I hear, there's last year,
no, she's actually
I'm excited about that. I've never liked to do it short. But
I'm just trying to
where were you? Did you see these guys?
No, that was the like yeah, I was going to say, she still has a bit of that year back. You just can't put your head down. We've been out somewhere and hope someone catches us.
That's really good. I love
I'm okay with that for now.
That's crazy.
I saw that. Wall Street decided to fell. The ball cropped up and she passed the post it fell. She's going to play the sheet.
Test. How we all doing today? Let's try that again. How we all doing today? There we go. That's a little better. Dr. Keller, thanks for showing up today. Appreciate you coming and supporting Hardrocker Athletics. Current events. Oh, long time no see. It's been a while since I've been up here for numerous reasons. Travel, sickness, who knows what. But it's good to see everybody here today. I appreciate your support. Current events. We got coming up here, Coach Johnson will talk about our track meet that's going to take place up at Black Hills State. We also have a basketball game coming up this weekend where we face Black Hills State here at home and open up RMAC play. And that's at 5:30 and 7:30. And then I just would encourage you to check out our website. Bradley has been doing a fantastic job of putting some tidbits out there on what we've been doing, what we've got coming ahead, and especially the offensive year we had for our football program this year, which was truly special. And that's a great article with lots of records that were broken. So we're going to start today. We're going to bring Coach Johnson up here. He's going to give us a little recap of cross country and talk about indoor track and field.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, we actually had the NCAA South Central Region meet down in Denver. And if you think it's cold, it was cold last week, let me tell you, it was something else. By the time we got through with the first race, and there were 2 races, my jacket was a literal sheet of ice. By the time we were done with the second race at Ward and we got to the car, it took 10 minutes for my jacket to thaw for me to be able to take it off. So it was a heck of a day conditions-wise, but our kids handled it really, really well. The men raced first. You know, I talked earlier this year about taking them up to that 10K in Billings for the experience so that they knew what a 10K was going to be like. And last year, when we got down to Canyon, Texas for our 10K, before we even got to the meet, their heads were already spinning with the idea of trying to race a 10K. And this year, going into that 10K, their mindset was completely different. Their approach was totally different to that 10K. They were totally comfortable with that. In fact, their biggest concern was whether they were going to wear tights and long sleeves or not. So I'll take that. They improved 7 spots over where we did last year. It should have been 3 more, to be honest with you. We should have been 14th. We finished 17th, which tied for the highest we've ever finished in the field at an NCAA Southwest Region, or excuse me, South Central Region meet. So that was really good to see. We were led by Chase Wood. Chase redshirted last year during cross country. Chase wound up, as a freshman, he was 103rd. I had to go back and look it up. He was 103rd as a freshman. He finished 52nd last week. So he had an absolutely fantastic race. At one point, he was as high as top 25 in the field. And so for a guy who only runs 10 miles a week, to go out and run the 10K and be up in the top, almost the top 50, we were real happy with what he got done. If he'd had another 20 meters in the finish chute, he would have gotten at least 3 more guys. I'll tell you what, he turned the guns on. That kid is fit. But unfortunately, our other top runner had a little bit of a rough day. He wound up being our number 7. This is the problem for our freshmen typically with the longer season, especially when we do the festival year, is that they tend to wear out a little bit faster. We tried to do some things to help them with that, and it just wasn't quite enough this year. But our returners were our top 3 guys for us this last week, and that was great. Joel Haas went from, he was something like 177th, and he moved up to 103rd in a year. Joel had a phenomenal race. Joel has been running as our number 4. If he'd been our number 4, that would have been the difference to get us up to that 14th spot. If we'd been there, the RMAC would have had 11 of the top 14 spots in the meet. To give you an idea, the RMAC went 1 through 6. They took 7 teams from the South Central region to the national meet this year, out of a field of 34. So it was a fantastic effort by our guys. They did everything right. They did everything that they could, and we saw the growth that we wanted to see. For the guys, really, what we've been talking about from day one is that we've been looking toward next year. But what they've made a point of doing was that they didn't overlook this year. It's real easy when you say, okay, next year's the year. Next year's going to be the year that we're really trying to get things done. It's real easy to start looking and saying, oh, well, this year doesn't matter, so I'm just not going to work that hard. These guys understood that we have to make that progression step by step, and we have to demonstrate it every step along the way, because we have to learn this year. We have to understand what it is to compete at the top levels in the RMAC and in the South Central region if we're going to try and make a run at a top 10 finish and possibly a chance at a national berth. And so they really took that to heart this year and really did a great job with that. On the women's side, obviously, as I've said before, we were in a different boat. But but our ladies ran well. Yeah, in our top three, we really pretty much equaled what we did at the conference meet. Points wise, it didn't look great, but because unfortunately we had a couple of our freshmen, young ladies that got a little bit dinged up and weren't able to run, so we actually had to call on some of our track athletes to help us out. And they did a great job. They did everything right. They did everything that they're supposed to do. But throwing them into that region is just, it's throwing them into the ringer. And you know, we can do everything that we want, but the bottom line is that we've got to keep growing. We've got to keep getting stronger. I think this year, when I look at who had the best season overall on our team, it was probably our number 2-3 runner, Laramie Giles. Laramie just had a fantastic year. Every meet, she was 2 to 3 minutes ahead of where she was last year. And to see that kind of growth was fantastic. And so we're really looking forward to seeing what we can get done on the track. I mean, this year we went into this cross-country season. We raced 6K, so 6,000 meters. It's a little over 3.5 miles. And our top two girls coming in, we felt like we're better 800 runners than they are mile 3K runners. So you knew right there that that's going to be a little bit tougher season. And they handled it really well. What we've got to do is we've got to keep building, keep picking up, and make sure that the freshmen now develop and help move us forward. All of that said, the national meet for cross country is this weekend, and this is also the opening weekend for track and field. So we're going up to Black Hills State. We're going to have a dual meet with them. So it sounds like from talking with the coach at Black Hills State that it is going to be limited events, so it won't be a full track and field slate. So if you're looking for a quick meet, this will be a quick one to come to and get you back here in time for the basketball games. The first event is going to be at 12:30. They'll start with the field events, and then at 1:30 the running events will kick off. So we'll see a lot of our, because of what Black Hills State has going with their athletes, we'll see a lot of our kids running shorter races. So an emphasis more on the sprint side of things. The race that I would say is probably the race to watch is going to be the 4x4. I'm hoping Black Hills is loading it up, because our guys are loading it up. They want a chance to take that conference team that we had that ran really well for us last spring, and they want a chance to try and do even better. And they want to do it against Black Hills, because Black Hills is one of the few teams in the conference that has really challenged and pushed them day in, day out. And so they want a chance to really load that up and go after it. So that should be a fun one. We're looking forward to seeing that. We're redshirting a few of our top athletes. Our top two throwers, both our top male and female throwers, are going to be redshirting this year. Indoors, we'll have one of them outdoors. We're hoping, but we know we're redshirting our top two throwers, so that'll be a little bit of a change for us. We're used to them coming in and doing really well, but be a chance for some of we've got two freshman female throwers, so it'll be a chance for them to step up and see what they can get done. On the track side of things, guys to watch are going to be guys like Jonathan Murray in the 400 meters. I think our relay team, that men's 4x4, which is, we've got 5 guys right now, probably possibly 6 that could fit into that relay team. That'll be a fun one to watch. Andy Ferris in the 800, and really curious to see what Chase Wood's able to get done now after finally coming off of a good cross-country season where he was healthy. That's actually the first time in the 3 years he's been here that we've got into the indoor track season healthy with him. So it should be a good one. Any questions?
So you said a couple of your throwers are gonna redshirt. What does that workout look like for them during a redshirt year as opposed to a normal participation?
Yeah, so for them, what that means, track and field's a little bit different because you can actually compete unattached in competitions. And so you can show up. Now the NCAA does require that you be fully eligible by NCAA standards to compete. So they have to make sure that they're staying on top of their grades and all that still. But what we typically try to do with them is push them a little bit more in the weight room. We're going to try and push them a little bit, maybe try and get a little more reps. We've got a new throw coach this year, Coach Dan Hawkinson. Came down, he coached up at Western the last few years, and we had Jack Bathel was the indoor conference champ for us last year, and then redshirted outdoors, and Colby Stinson from Western was the outdoor conference champion shop. So I feel like we got a little bit of a steal taking Dan away from them, but what he likes to do is really take time to focus on some events, and so he has events for everybody that these are your priority events. And so just try to take those events to the next level and figure out what we need to do, how to clean things up. You know, he's got a pretty good system as far as how we challenge them at every level, whether that's you know, for our freshmen, it's learning the weight throw and the hammer throw. A lot of times for our returners, and for our red shirts, it's trying to figure out how to fine tune some of those events so that when you come through on that turn, on that last turn that you're releasing, that you've got as much speed as you can possibly handle and then some. So it's really teaching them how to be aggressive. That's the difference between learning and being an upper class versus being aggressive. Other questions? All right, thank you.
I failed to mention earlier, I want to thank Subway for being our sponsor today. Our next speaker is Coach Larsen. I must say, I'm a little disappointed we didn't score more points last night. And defensively, we let one young lady go off for 18. So I'd like you to explain yourself when you get up here.
All right, thank you everybody for coming out. I'm really going to try to do my best to stay on task today because I have a lot to talk about. 3 games. Last week, the signing periods, we got some recruits we'll talk about. And then obviously a big game coming up. But I've done a poor job. I got some people I need to thank that I've failed to thank the last few weeks. First one, Coach Talcott, our strength coach, has done a tremendous job with our team this year, getting them in shape, getting them stronger over the summer and in the preseason, obviously. Had a lot of nice compliments from people that have watched us play this year that our kids look stronger, more athletic, that type of stuff. All compliments there to Coach Talcott and the program they put together, but even more so with the kids really dedicating themselves to putting in that hard work. So big thanks to Coach Talcott. Christina Burke, knock on wood here, we have 11 players and thus far we are fairly healthy for the most part. Hopefully we can stay that way. Burke does just a great job of making sure our kids do the right things as far as staying healthy, getting in the training room, proper rest, getting to bed, all that stuff that is so needed for us to stay healthy. And then communicating with me and, you know, maybe we should rest this kid a little bit more. She needs to take some reps off, that type of stuff. So great job by Christina Burke so far. I say so far, but yeah, she does a tremendous job for us. 2 more people. You've probably seen a young lady sitting on our bench this year. Her name is Alex Reeder. Alex is helping us out in practice, running the clock, doing all kinds of different stuff for us in practice. I can't tell you how much that helps us out as a coaching staff, Coach Bonlander, Coach Richter, and myself, where we can put somebody in charge of that stuff and we're not having to deal with it. We can focus on our players and practice and stuff like that. So just a huge help to us right there. And one more fine young man, Malik Shakur, is practicing with us again. About 4 or 5 days a week. Malik is waking up early, coming to practice, doing anything we need him to do. You know, most of the time he's playing defense for 2 straight hours, and he just absolutely loves it. And it is such a benefit for us. One of the finest young men you will ever meet. I have a huge place in my heart for Malik. Just a tremendous young man. He's been doing this for 2 years for us now. So big thanks to those 4 for helping us out thus far. Yeah, about a week and a half ago now, opened up the season at University of Sioux Falls on Friday night. USF's a really good team. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. I was pleased with the way we played. We defended them pretty darn well. We did. 64 points to a team that was, they put up 90 twice. Saturday they went down to Shatter and put 90 plus on the board, beat them up pretty good. We defended them really darn well. The problem was, as we play more games, what we're doing offensively this year, anytime someone defends us a little differently, it's going to be a bit of work in progress for us. And USF switched a lot of screens on us, which caused us to turn it over, obviously, way too many times than what we would have liked. They had a lot more possessions, a lot more shots than us because of our turnovers. There was a handful of turnovers during that game where, what are you thinking when you decide to make that play turnover, which you're going to have at times. But majority of those turnovers were passes that were the right pass. They were probably just a little late or not on time. So they were the right plays. We didn't make them. We got to complete them. And that's something that we will get better at, obviously, as the year goes along and as teams guard us differently. That's something, the way they defend us is something that we haven't really worked on all year. And that's something, as coaching staff, we need to start practicing more, putting our kids in different situations where they're switching screens, doubling here, helping off a certain kid at a different spot, that type of stuff. So that was good for us, it really was. That was really the difference right there. We did cut to 7 at the final media timeout in the fourth quarter and really made a nice run. And made it pretty darn close. Unfortunately, we had to foul late, and that means we're kind of stretched there, and obviously the Cougars made their free throws down the stretch there. But, the score was much closer than, the game was much closer than what that final score indicated. And I was really pleased with the way we played. Loved our effort. We had about 2 minutes in that game where we just had, dry spells offensively, and then just kind of a small lack of focus defensively where we didn't guard them the way we wanted to game plan wise. And that was where they kind of stretched to start the second half there. That's something that we got to eliminate for sure. We had that same problem the next night against Montana State Billings a little bit, which we played pretty darn well. Now, I've talked to quite a few of you about the difference between those two games offensively for us was, again, USF, they guarded us in a way we really hadn't seen all year. Well, Billings guarded us kind of the typical way we guard ourselves in practice. So we knew where our shots were coming from. We knew where our scoring opportunities were, and we certainly did take advantage of that, like lighting up the scoreboard pretty darn well. Really good showing by our kids offensively, finding easy baskets, finding the shots that we have practiced all year, and we didn't turn the basketball over. Defensively, this is where coaching is sometimes overrated. I will say that for sure. I didn't plan on playing zone that game at all. We had talked about a little bit as a coaching staff, to switch it up here and there. We were not guarding well in our man-to-man defense. It was probably 3/4 way through the first quarter. We shot a free throw and like, heck, let's switch it up a little bit defensively. Fell back to our 2-3 zone. Now, gotta stop. Oh, let's stick with it. Gotta stop, gotta stop, gotta stop. And we ended up playing zone pretty much the rest of the game until the fourth quarter. And really stretched out on them. And we had I believe we had an 18-0 run in that game. We're starting to really, as a coaching staff, look at 3 possessions where if you're on defense, you want to get a stop, a score, and a stop. Or if you start with the ball offensively, you want to get a score, a stop, and a score. And we have a number of those throughout that game in which we were really able to spread the score there. And that was a really good showing by us. I will admit, I got a little stubborn against Billings in that fourth quarter. We had the lead by 30 points, and I told our kids in the fourth quarter, okay, we're going to guard man-to-man here. All right, we're going to make you guard man-to-man. And I got a little stubborn. I'll admit it. Billings put a 31-point quarter on us in the fourth quarter. And so we got to get better at guarding the arc. We do. And I'll roll that over into last night's game against Dakota State, where game plan wise, we were switching 1 through 4 defensively and thought we did a pretty darn good job of taking them out of their actions that they wanted to, where they score normally. But the problem was, when we were switching, we were leaving kids open on the arc. And we call, one of our biggest emphasis defensively is we did not want to get shot on last night. If I'm guarding Mr. Man right here, all right, and he's got the basketball, and he can just rise up and shoot it, well, that's not good enough ball pressure. And that was one of our biggest emphasis last night. We just kind of got shot on too much. Number 23, who had, 15 of their 22 points in the first half. That's how she scored. So we have to do a better job there. Back at that Billings game, same type of thing. We just gave up too many threes from the arc. And that's something that we really have to improve on defensively, throughout the year. We just got to have better ball pressure. We got to know where those shooters are, and we got to force them to put them on the floor quite a bit more. But last night, man, I tell you what, yeah, we played a really, really good ball game. Two things I'm very proud of in that basketball game last night was we had a tremendous effort for 40 minutes. We really played hard for 40 minutes. And, when you're leading a game by a really wide margin that we were, it's easy to take some possessions off. It is. I didn't feel our kids did that in the entire night. And that's something I'm really proud of this team, because it's easy to just take a possession off when you're leading big. We didn't do that. We kept playing extremely hard. The other thing I was really proud of is we executed 40 minutes. There again, when you have a big lead, you can just kind of go out there and hoop a little bit, kind of get your own shot, kind of ad-lib, do whatever you want to do. We didn't do that. It was really fun to watch offensively. We executed the way we want to run offense, and because of it, we were able to shoot the ball, get the shots that we wanted to, and look what happened. We got 101 points. That was pretty darn fun. 23 assists. I don't remember what our shooting percentages were, but they were pretty darn phenomenal because we executed offensively. Really good showing by our young ladies last night. So I'm very proud of the way we competed and executed last night. Big game coming up for sure. Really big game Saturday. Black Hills State, rivalry aside, they're picked the #1 in the RMAC for this year. Started watching film on a little bit yesterday morning. Watched quite a bit more already today, and there's a reason they're #1 picked in the league. They're good. They're really good. A lot of experience coming back at the guard position. They have a young lady that they redshirted last year who was a transfer from Minnesota State Moorhead playing in the post, who can really score at all 3 levels. She has a really good jump shot from the arc. She can put it on the floor and make a pull-up jumper, and she's really skilled in the block. So that's a young lady we'll really have to key on defensively. And then on the perimeter, they got some really skilled players that can shoot it and get to the rim as well. So big task ahead of us, but the way we're playing right now, from last night's 4 quarters, Saturday's game, and the way we defended against USF, we have a lot to be excited about. And I know our kids are extremely excited about that game, but we need to get some good practices in starting tomorrow. We took today off, then we'll start diving into how we're going to exactly defend the Yellow Jackets. But it's more about us. How are we going to, how are they going to defend us? They defend us kind of like USF did? Are we going to be able to find the shots that we need to get? Can we play through mismatches when they switch screens, stuff like that? It's all about how we perform. But I'm excited with the way that we're playing right now. I'm very, very excited about this team. We got some clips, Brad? We got some clips in Montana State Billings game. Billings, they really concentrated defensively on our ball screens. There's a really nice slip by Anna Haugen. Great little pocket pass from Sammy Stefik. Here's another ball screen situation. Molly McCabe rolls hard, gets a nice basket there. Again, another ball screen situation where they leave Ryan Weiss wide open, which isn't a very good decision on their part because she can really shoot it. Here's a nice stop. Anna Haugen, as I like to say, being Draymond Green, going 94 feet for the layup. I tell you what, it is such a luxury to have post players that can handle it in the full court. Here's a great pass, little pocket pass to one of our freshmen, Melissa Johnstone, getting a lot of nice compliments on her. Here's another great ball screen roll situation. Molly drives hard, wide open kick out to Anna Kombalia. Beautiful high-low against Billings zone there, something we practiced a lot, executed that fantastically. Here's a great situation. The clock is just at a minute. We wanted to go 2 for 1. Anna makes a fantastic play, and there's one of that is a fantastic play there by Kombalia. Big time ball screen roll for us there. And just, I tell you what, Molly McCabe had a fantastic game. I'll talk more about Molly here, but here's what Cooper Courtney does best, coming off the screen, setting her feet, knocking it down. Great post feed there, Anna Haugen. Anna's very unselfish, kick out to Sammy for a wide open 3. really unselfish basketball. Again, those shots right there, those are things that we practice in our offense. Our kids are executing them fantastically right now. Talked with the fellas back here, a few of them complimented how Molly McCabe is playing. I said last year, we need Molly to score more. And thank you, Molly. Thank you, Molly, a lot for being a little bit more selfish for us this year, because she had 19 points against a really good Montana State Billings team, 10 rebounds, a huge double-double, but she's looking to score for us right now, and Molly's going to have some matchups where I just don't know where people are going to guard her, because she is so darn athletic, and she is starting to play that way, and so it's a huge weapon for us off the bench. Both her and Cooper against the Montana State Billings game, we were trailing 8-10 points. They come in, and it was just gas on fire. Those guys ignited us. Two great weapons for us coming off the bench right there. We had 55 bench points last night against Dakota State. I said early in the year, I really like our depth. We got some kids that can come off the bench and really score it and spark us. Michaela Shackley, we didn't play a lot for us last year, had 15 points for us last night. So I'm excited about our depth right now. And we're playing pretty balanced minutes right now, which is exciting too, because those kids are earning their playing time for sure. So, yes, great weekend, about a week and a half ago, great night last night. Now it's time to refocus, get our juices going. We need you guys to come out. We need you to bring 5 friends Saturday, okay? Not just your normal 1 friend. Bring 5 friends, get in that gym, and when that ball goes up, I need you hyped. Absolutely hyped. And when the Yellow Jackets are on the free throw line, I need you loud, okay? When we turn them over and make a transition 3, I need you to get louder, okay? You guys help us out tremendously. Home court advantage. We need to start, making the King Center, Bart Feldman floor just one of the toughest places to play in the RMAC, and that all starts with you guys. All right, I have some recruits that we signed up last week. First one, Naomi Hidalgo. The Hidalgo name might sound a little familiar. Her brother's a freshman for the men's team, so we really have to thank Coach Glenn on this one, because her brother Zach wasn't here. It would be a hard time getting this young lady, because she was highly, highly recruited. We beat a lot of good schools on this young lady, a couple Division I schools as well. She's a fantastic scorer, fantastic scorer. She scores at all 3 levels. She's an absolute physical specimen on the block, can shoot the ball to the arc as well. Just a really good player. Plays for a really good high school program, Greeley Central, and a good AU program out of Colorado as well. We are really excited about Naomi. We targeted her as one of the kids that we really need to get this year, and we got her wrapped up, and it's a huge sign for us. Before I go on to the next one, recruiting at South Dakota School of Mines is difficult for women's programs. I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm not using it as an excuse at all. But this class is really big for us because, we have 1 senior this year. 1 senior, Alexi Taylor Molstead. But you look 2 years ahead, we got 6 seniors that we got to replace. And that's why this class is so big for us. Because when those 6 seniors graduate, these guys here, they have to be ready to play. And we knew we had to bring in a pretty sizable class. We have 3 that we'll mention right now. We have a 4th committed that I cannot talk about quite yet. That will be coming probably sometime next week. But not only do we need really good players, but we need some numbers as well. I point about how it's difficult to recruit here a little bit. Obviously, the science and engineering is getting better for females, and that's very, very exciting. The STEM and everything else that the high schools have going on is huge for us as a science and engineering school. But to find young ladies that want to go into engineering and science and then are good at basketball, our recruiting pool is small. And we have never really recruited a lot of kids, but this year we recruited the most kids that we ever had in my time here. And there's no one to thank more than that than Coach Bonlander as our recruiting coordinator. She put us on a bunch of young ladies, the ones that we wanted to get. And we're, again, just having a larger number to recruit from was huge for us this year. So all thanks to Coach Bonlander and the efforts that she put in to signing these kids. Next young lady, Ellie Till, 5'11", Florida. It's pronounced Canyon City. They got that little squiggly over the A, all right, but it's spelled Canyon City, but Canyon City, Colorado. Ellie is kind of a multi-dimensional kid for us. You know, if we can kind of compare her to someone, kind of an Anna Haugen type player. Ellie does have really nice range to the arc. She's a really good shooter, but can kind of play inside and out. We need to get a little more athletic in this class as well. Ellie's a tremendous athlete, really skilled kid that we can play again on the post or on the perimeter a little bit, so it gives us a lot of options there. Ellie again plays for a really good high school team, an AU program out of Colorado. This is another kid that we identified early that we really got to focus in on and get, and I'm very thankful to get her done. Next young lady, Laura Martinez, Leon, Spain, 5'7" guard, industrial engineering. I fall in love with Spanish basketball players after we got Ana Combalia here, because she just has a different skill set than anybody I've ever coached, and I'll bring the Spanish Armada in if I have to. Okay, I love Spanish basketball right now, and we found that there's a lot of kids interested or in Spain that are interested in engineering, and that is a huge advantage for us as a school where engineering it's international. And you can go anywhere, get a degree from South Dakota School of Mines, and go work anywhere in the world. Okay, so that's something that we want to take advantage of is our international recruiting. And if you can find a player that can really play like this young lady, Laura Martinez, just a dynamic guard that can, again, really score all over the floor. Physically, probably one of the most physical guards I've ever witnessed. She just loves body contact. She goes down the lane, just throws her body into anybody and makes a basket. I don't know how she does it, but just a tremendous basket maker is the way I can describe her. Again, range to the arc, extremely skilled with the basketball, tremendous passer, really good all-around game to her. I am really excited about this young lady. She's going to be fun to watch as well. We had, like I said, one more young lady committed to us. Can't announce anything about that quite yet. We'll release that probably early next week, but extremely excited about this recruiting class. Again, we needed some numbers, but biggest thing is we needed some kids that we feel can come in and play and help us right away, and I'm very confident those three will. All right, I did a great job, the best job I've done all year as far as staying on task. So when I leave, I need a bigger round of applause than I normally get. So you should be proud of me. But I will take some questions at the end. Hopefully I don't get too far off track. Questions for me? Yes?
Can you explain the big advantage of intentional fouling during the last 3-4 minutes when you're quite a ways behind and they're going to free throw shoot?
Yeah. It worked against us. It worked against us. But, you know, we're just trying to steal some possessions there. You know, hopefully they miss, come down and get a quick one, get a quick basket. No, neither of those happened though. They made them all. We weren't able to convert our baskets. But I was going to keep trying. You know, I wasn't going to go down without a fight. Yeah, you know, I've seen them happen quite a bit though. For a lot of teams, they miss free throws, and boy, before you know it, it's a one-possession game. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing it, and hopefully one of these times it works out for me though. But I hope that answered your question. Yeah. So I'm going to keep trying for you then. Work? All right, deal.
Ryan,
Yes.
but comparing Sioux Falls and Montana State, is Black Hills more like a Sioux Falls? Is that what you're thinking?
You know, that's a good question. From what I've seen right now, I would say they're more like a Montana State, but Coach Norrie, he's a really crafty guy. You
So
know.
will they run the floor like Sioux Falls?
Oh yeah, offensively, yeah, they play fast. Yeah, they got some really nice athletes that really get up and down. They look to play fast. Defensively, you know, you just never know what Coach Norrie has up his sleeve. You know, there's been games where he comes out in the zone we haven't seen ever, and he'll try to trap you, put a lot of pressure on you. He'll at times switch a lot of screens. So, you know, we got to be ready for everything offensively. You know, they're a little bit different offensively. This year too, they switched up what they're doing offensively to fit their personnel a little bit better. So we got to figure out a good way to guard them there. And they put you in tough spots. They really do, where it's going to be, tough to possibly double their post players at times. And they're shooting pretty darn good right now too, which when they played really well last night, last year they made jumpers, and they're making jumpers right now too. So it's going to be tough to guard. Yeah, they're good. We're ready for them though. We're ready for the task.
I think we are too.
Yeah. Anything else for me? Thank you guys for your support. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday. Take care.
Thanks, Coach. Hey, we've got up next here, we've got Coach Glenn, who's fresh off a couple of red eyes to Alaska and from Alaska back to Rapid City.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously last time we spoke here, we were getting ready for our 5-game road trip in basically just over a week's time. And, Coach Ryder, I didn't even see you here. Hello. You got out of jury duty.
Yes.
Excellent. So anyways, yeah, so five games, which was honestly, I know we ended up 0-5 on those. But for our team, it was a great experience, and I'm really happy with a lot of the things that we did. And quite honestly, as we went from game to game, we kept getting better and better. And so, we always talk about a process, and sometimes that process doesn't move along as quick as you would like. But there is some really good things happening with this team. And they're playing hard enough, that's the thing. So they're playing hard enough, they're working hard enough to win some games. We just aren't quite playing smart enough on one end of the floor. And once we kind of figure that part out, I really think some things are going to bust open for us. Just to speak of that, defensively right now, we are currently we're second in conference in points allowed. And then, so that's a big step for us from last year to this year. And we plan on continuing to keep that. We still haven't guarded the three-pointer like we wanted. That's still a learning process, and we haven't probably faced maybe 3 of the best three-point shooting teams we might face all year in Augustana, Northern State, and University of Alaska Anchorage. And they did shoot it well against us. We're learning that sometimes, an extra step on shooters, it makes all the difference in the world, where some guys you can close out a little shorter on. So that's, again, it's learning. We're kind of figuring that out. If we kind of back up here, you talk about the Augustana game. They have a young group, but they have shooters all over the floor. All 5 guys can shoot the 3. They're very good. They spread us out pretty good, and they did shoot the ball fairly well. The game really wasn't. Again, our offense was just really sputtering. We have got to a point where we're just moving too darn quick, and whether it's a guy moving the ball too quick before a guy is open, whether we're putting the ball on the floor a little too quick, those are all things that we're working on. And I think once we get a little bit more, we use the word deliberate. And when we say deliberate, we're not necessarily thinking about slow play, trying to keep score down or anything like that. What we're really talking about is just giving an opportunity for you to see what's happening. And right now, we move a little still too quick with that. And we saw some glimpses. We against Augustana, we just were moving so quick. We tried to call some sets where guys were a little bit more comfortable maybe with. It was just hard to slow us down. And so it ended up not being a real pretty night for us. The next day, we showed a lot of tape. We actually had probably about a whole morning of about 3 hours of basketball, whether it was watching film, we were on the floor practicing, and watching more film after that, to play a really, really good Northern State team. And if you didn't happen to see it, we really played extremely well. I was really proud of it, the way that we played. And quite honestly, it just came down to the end where we kind of blinked first, and they made a couple shots to extend, I think it was a 3-point lead. Is that right? I can't remember for sure. It's been so long ago now, it feels like. But they just extended that lead on us, and that was the difference in the game in the last 3 minutes of the game. So we were very encouraged coming off that, thinking that, okay, we're starting to figure it out, we're starting slowing down. Went on the bus, went up to Mary, they got physical with us, and as anybody knows with basketball, to speed someone up, you get after them, a little bit more ball pressure, you get after their cutters, be more physical and things, and we kind of bought into it, and we sped up again. And again, it was kind of a challenge to get us to slow down offensively. So really good learning experiences. They were really tough to sit through and watch, but in the end, I really think that we're getting there. We went to Alaska Anchorage, started a little bit, again, quick, but things started coming around that first night, and then we just started missing, we missed some shots. But defensively, through this whole process, our defense has been really sound. And we've been, a lot of times when that offense struggles, you see your defense start to falter. And we haven't allowed that to happen. Of course, we've really talked about not letting that happen. But we really kind of hung in there on that first night where we just didn't quite have the tempo that we wanted. And it was a struggle that way. Although we did we had a double-digit lead, and on a couple of occasions we took it to 3 and we took it to 4, and just couldn't get over the hump against them. So the unique thing was that we were playing them again a second night, which I thought for our guys was really good because we didn't have to worry about another prep. We could really focus on us. We were really happy with what we were doing defensively against them. Other than they have 2 really good 3-point shooters. We allowed them to get loose on us quite a bit that first night. And so the second night, we did a great job on their leading scorer. He only had 6 points. He got very frustrated. And then their second leading scorer, really, he did have double figures, but he ended up going to the basket a little more than he normally does and got a couple rebounds on us. But overall, we did a fairly decent job on him as well. So we were pretty happy with the defensive effort. And then on the offensive side, again, the first half, we felt we had great practice that morning. We watched it, just like we did against Northern, we watched a lot of tape. We thought we'd use the same process. Felt really good about it, and boy, we just kind of came out quick again. And we were missing, and we've shown them like the last 4 games where we are totally missing cutters cutting down the lane. And they're coming open a little late, probably, and that's why we just moved the ball too quick. I think they're expecting them to be open 1 step past the screen, and they're actually getting open probably about 3 to 4 steps past the screen. And so we're just stopped looking at them. And if we just be a little bit more patient and know that it's coming, they're there. And you can see it on tape. They're sitting all alone with a guy trailing them right in the lane. And I'm not talking about 3 or 4 plays where it's like 10 to 12. So it's one of those things where if we can figure it out, we're going to get some great things. Our action is good, and we're doing some great things that way. So the big thing about it was, though, the second half, we just told them at halftime, if you would just slow down and we start working on getting a little bit more touches in that paint and allow some things to happen in the paint. I told them we'd score 40 points in this half. And we came out in the second half, and we did a tremendous job. It was really encouraging. And sure enough, we scored 43 points that half. And so it's, like I said, it's a process. It's a small win. We'll take it right now. But, if we continue down that path and our guys do have that light bulb and they can keep it on the whole time, I think you're going to see some great things because the defensive side has been really good. And we'd like to guard that 3 a little bit better, but our interior D has been pretty darn solid. And that's why we are giving up probably a few more looks at the 3, but we got to get to them. And so when we get that accomplished and that offense comes around, we're going to be a pretty darn good team. Health-wise, Coach talked about his health. We're kind of the same way. For the most part, we're sitting pretty good that way, knock on wood. And as long as we can keep going and get better with that, we're excited. Now, Black Hill's coming up. I think they're kind of going through some of the same struggles we are. They actually returned 5 starters. And as far as I can tell, I watched a little bit of tape. I'm going to dig into them a lot more this afternoon. And really, tomorrow, get into them a little bit more. But they're running a lot of the same stuff. They're struggling on the offensive end as well. So, I don't know, one of us is going to be so darn happy because we finally scored on Saturday, or it's going to be a rock fight and people are going to be leaving. So I don't know which is going to happen. But we're hoping for the first, of course, and that's us. Been really happy because I think that we can really do some things from what I've seen, the way that they're defending some stuff. I'm excited for our guys. They've seen the defense, the style that they've been playing before, the way that they're guarding actions, and so if we can just get prepared for that and slow ourselves down, we're hoping for a great opportunity there. And I know it's a big game, it's a big rivalry game. It's really early in the season, and so for us, our guys are going to be excited because they know it's Black Hills and things, but we're still approaching it. It's one game, and it's an opportunity for us to get on the floor and continue to get better because the season still is really, really young for us right now. So, we're not, we want to win and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, we're really just focused on us playing like we want to play, and we really have some benchmarks and process goals that we look at, and if we can start hitting some of those goals at a little higher rate, we're going to be happy with that as well. So, with that being said, any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Brad, I forgot, you got me set up as well with some highlights, and there were some good highlights, there really were. This is obviously at Anchorage. Beautiful facility. People there are great. this Troy Brady hitting a three. We're finally starting to get him loose a little bit because we are starting to get the ball where we need it to be. There he hit Donnie Hayes for, can you just stop it real quick there, Brad? You're moving real quick for me. I'm not as quick a talker as Coach Larsen. So we have some guys that are new to us. Donnie Hayes, obviously the freshman, has done really well. Who we got the steal right here is Alec Williams. Okay, that's a pretty athletic dunk, by the way. He's not very big. So these are guys that are really starting to figure some things out. There you can see we got a great touch again on a cut going to the basket. And so when we did get it there, I mean, we're shooting like close to 70% when we get the ball where we want to get it. And now we can start getting guys like Troy Brady loosened up because people know who Troy Brady and Jay Keith are. And they're just not giving them much room to breathe right now. And so we got them on the second night. We started scoring a bit more. That was Mitch Suker. He was a little bit, you can kind of see what he's doing. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Even though Mitch was with us last year, he didn't practice much. And so he's still playing kind of like a freshman this year. But he's coming along pretty darn well, as is Damani Hayes. They're both playing really well for us. There's a nice steal. You can see on our defense, we've had some good transition baskets. We do like to get out and push it if we can on some transition situations. So that was really fast, Brad. We're going to have to slow down a little bit. I'm not that quick. So as you can see, there are some really good moments though for us, and we're really excited. You know, I did change the lineup come to the last weekend a little bit. Damani Hayes, I tell you what, he's a great young man. He's from Minnesota. He's been really we're a little thin at our 4 and 5 spots. He's got a terrific body for a freshman. He's extremely strong, and he's athletic, and he has a great basketball IQ, which is just, for a kid at that age to really understand the game the way that he does. So we started playing him at our trail post to back up a little bit, and he was just playing so well there, and I was only able to get him about 14 to 15 minutes a game, and it just wasn't enough because he's playing way too good for us. So we moved him to the 3, and we're still playing him at the 4 a little bit. So, but we basically doubled his minutes in one weekend, and it really showed. Now the first night, like any freshman would, he was so excited, he was starting and stuff, that I should have ran him a mile to slow him down a little bit. But overall, he still did a really good job for us on the defensive side. The next night, he was just tremendous. He had 16 points, he had 6 rebounds, hit 3 threes, I believe it was. He had a terrific game for us, and he's going to be a really good player for us. And with him and Mitch both being freshmen, you can just see each game. They're kind of seeing how things go. When they were playing those 2 shooters from Anchorage, Damani actually made the comment. He goes, it's different in high school. We say go get after a shooter. I can kind of be there and put a hand up. He goes, with these guys, I got to be on them like a blanket. And so that's about right. You've got to make them not allow them to shoot it. They've got to put it on the ground. And so, like I said, it's been a good learning process. And coming back, like I said, we lose 5 in a row. It doesn't feel like it because we are really moving forward with this group, and we're really excited. I can't say that enough because they believe in what they're doing. They see the tape, and you can just see them, and their eyes are like, "What in the world am I doing?" And so they see it too. And we just got to get on that wood and get it figured out a little bit. So, any questions now?
Your other big man before college, is he going to be back in the line?
Great news with him is that this week he is starting with practice. He can do non-contact stuff this week. So we're excited with that, and we hopefully will see him in live contact sometime in the future.
Eric, it seemed like, just looking at the box scores and watching a little bit on the game, you're in that process now of trying to figure out who gets what minutes, what are the right combinations, because some of the minutes kind of varied over those 5 games.
They really have, and like I said, for us, we still feel like the season's still really early, and make myself feel old, but back in my day, you really didn't start conference play until after Christmas, and so this was these games are still all pre-conference games, so to hit conference at this time isn't early, but everybody's in the same boat, and I think you're going to see that a lot of people that are still trying to figure out their lineups a little bit. I really like our starting lineup right now. I'm feeling very comfortable with that. Some guys coming off the bench, we got to get a little more consistent. I'm not sure who's bringing what each night. A good example is Wilford Dixon had a tremendous night the second night at University of Los Angeles. Came off the bench, I think the night before, we got about 12 minutes. Didn't really do much, didn't show up in the box score too much. He got 22 minutes the second night because he got his 4 rebounds, he had 7 points, and was 2 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. So really had a good night for us. It gave us a good spark off the bench with that. So if we can get some consistency there with some guys off the bench, we kind of figure that out. I'd love to be able to go to about 8 or 9 guys on the bench, and so we'll see how that goes. But we're definitely going to play the guys that we feel comfortable with right now. Yes? And Nate, and you mean Jake? Oh, I'm sorry, Jake Keith. Yes, Jake Keith is still playing. Yep. Yeah, but we're actually bringing Jake off the bench right now. He was starting for us. One of the things, though, playing him and Troy Brady at the same time, we just felt like we didn't have the size that we needed at the guard spots. We're getting beat up on the boards pretty good. So that kind of experiment is kind of, we're putting that to the side right now, and we're going to try to play a little bit bigger lineup to start with. And so we're bringing him off the bench, and he's playing some at the wing, but we're also kind of moving him over. He's going to play some at the point guard position as well for us. Anybody else? All right, great. That must be my timer. My time is up. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks for everybody for coming today. Thanks again to Subway. Next week, we are at Pizza Ranch at 11:30. Just a kind of subtle reminder, today is Giving Tuesday. So across the country, across the state, across Rapid City, especially here on campus, it's Giving Tuesday. You can go online, and our goal is to raise $12,000 today for scholarship money, campus-wide, nothing specific athletically or non-athletics. But you can go on the foundation website if you feel so and make a donation towards scholarships, which we all need. Your time at South Dakota School of Mines is temporary. The Hard Rock life is forever. It's a great day to be a Hard Rocker. Thanks for showing up today, and we'll see you this weekend.